Hey everyone, I wanted to talk about the general checkup or the wellness exam. So, who needs a wellness exam? Let me think. Everybody. I think that most people, whether I see college level athletes, old people that exercise, middle-aged people, unemployed people, CEOs, people who are heavy, people who are skinny, I think I can usually find imbalances in most folks, and I can help guide to get back into balance. The problem is, you got to get into the office, and you got to spend the time with me. If you're expecting to get in and out in 10 minutes, I'm not your doctor. You can go to the immediate care center and get a little Band-Aid for something. But if you want to make a major lifestyle change and live till 100 without any medicines, surgeries, and happy and independent, you come to see me or one of my integrated medicine fellows. So I think it's important to establish that everybody needs a checkup. I had a guy that. So what do we go through with a check? So what do we go through with the checkup? It usually involves history taking, questions and answers, then a physical exam, then maybe blood ordering, x-rays, or a second opinion. The history taking, in my opinion, is the most important part of this. Me getting to know you is very important. If I know what's deficient, how your lifestyle is, how you think, what your cooking pattern is, if you exercise, how much you sleep, I can figure out when time comes how to best serve you, or even before the time comes, I can figure out how to avoid the big disasters that are coming. So how do I figure that? I use an acronym. I use an acronym of genetics, G, lifestyle, L, genetics, lifestyle, and genetics, lifestyle, exposure, genetics, G, lifestyle, L, environment, E, and vitals, V. Those are the four things I really harp upon. When I have a full amount of information on these four qualities, then I can really develop an idea of who you are. Let's start with genetics. It's always important to figure out what your parents had, what your grandparents had, where you were born, what you were raised with, who cooked for you, what your siblings were like, how the environment at home was, what the relationships were like, what your kids are doing now, how they're faring as far as their health, what they think of you, how your relationship with your wife is. It's always important. And you would think if we figure you have a genetic exposure of some sort, that you're going to have it as well. I don't believe that. I think that the lifestyle will decide if you expose or repress that bad gene that's in your history. So people who have cancer in the family, I don't think you have to conclude that you're going to have cancer. I think there's still things that you can do in your lifestyle to prevent that from expressing itself. And then comes the lifestyle, L. Lifestyle includes thinking and relaxation practice, eating and nutrition, activity that's outside of work, and then sleep and love. I think they're all important for manifesting the best life that you can lead, to make this thing bulletproof. The heart, the brain, every cell in your body. This miracle of life should be able to fix itself out of every predicament, but if you feed it the wrong thing, if you don't get the right kind of sleep, if you're constantly being abused, then it probably isn't going to do its job. Next comes environment or exposure. Sometimes when you're exposed to toxic friends, toxic chemicals, other things that will be bad for your health, like smoking or drinking excessively, I think that also will increase your chances for disease. So it helps me figure out where we can improve upon. And then finally it's vitals, or things like blood pressure, body mass index, pulse rate, even things like what your sugar level is or what your cholesterol level is. I think that's also important, but that's now getting into blood testing. So mostly with the history taking, I can get a good idea about who you are and what we have to watch out for. But it takes asking questions and you answering questions. So if you're going to be expecting a 10-minute visit in and out, I'm probably not your doctor. You can probably go to a immediate care center, but I do not understand how you will be able to get the information I get out of a 10-minute visit. So I would be warning you that if you have a doctor like that, you have to be careful. They should listen to you, and they shouldn't be rude. I've taken my mother-in-law and my father to doctors who I thought were not doing their job properly, and unfortunately my parents, my in-laws didn't know any better, and it took me to tell them that wasn't the way to do it. So I would always look out for I would always look out for who's giving you the information. And if I don't know something about a nutrition fact or a supplement, I will always research it or ask my colleagues or ask another professional. So if I can't help you make the lifestyle change to get you back into balance, I'll call on other people that I call coaches to help get you back into balance. I try to assemble a team to help with the deficiencies or what's missing in life. Usually that involves nutrition, mindfulness practice like psychology, activity with a physical therapist, a chiropractor, or a personal trainer, or a life coach, and then some form of relaxation practice, or somebody to just make sure that you're doing everything the right way. I can certainly be there for you, but I can't be there as close as some of my coaches who are my eyes in the field. So with this team, we get you healthy, and we get you to 103 years of age without a hitch. That means without medicines, without any major surgeries, and living independently. If you look at the work that Daniel Buettner wrote about, if you look at Dan Buettner's work in the Blue Zones, it'll show you about people throughout the earth that have made it to 103. In fact, he circled areas of the globe where there were concentrated areas of centenarians, and there were 5 in particular, and he tried to figure out, of those 5 places, what was the prevailing thought or lifestyle change that made them live to 100. And he usually found that it was eating a mostly whole food, plant-based diet. It was also some form of activity, usually walking, but that was outside of work. Some form of family belonging, or at least a sense that you are needed for some reason. And then proper sleep, and laughter, and love. All those things, when put into the recipe, came out with a really great dish, which is usually living long and independent. In the United States, we're totally opposite that. We do things very much based on materialistic things. And I think that just like that hedonic treadmill where you have to buy something material and you have to buy another thing to be happy temporarily and buy more and more things, you accumulate all these things on this treadmill and you're just not happy because you haven't fixed what's inside. I really think that meditation and mindfulness practice is very important, and I have other videos to link you to how to do that, but that's why I have this meditation pillow in my office. This is my 3rd examination room, and I use it for energy healing, acupuncture, and self-meditation. Eventually I'm going to be leading yoga classes in my office. Right now I'm doing it at Advocate Sherman Hospital once a month, but soon we'll have that in the mix. But I think it's very important to include that with a well-balanced life. If you would have asked me 10, 20 years ago, I would have thought that was just for girls or artsy-fartsy, but now I see the evidence and the use for this form of lifestyle practice. I think this is one part of it. Exercise or activity is another part. Nutrition is definitely a part that the United States is really lacking on. And then there's some form of really embellishing sleep, which we usually learn not to do. But if we have all those things in the right mix, then we can usually get to the point where we're bulletproof. I think if we feed our bodies the right food, activity, love, we can really reverse a lot of disease. If you feed yourself nothing but steak, egg, and cheese bagels from McDonald's, nothing against McDonald's, I relied on this when I was younger, and I also gave my kids this, but this is my steak, egg, and cheese bagel that I bring around to my lectures, and it's from 2011. That's 5 years ago. And the only reason I got this from 2011, it's not my last one, I had one that I used to bring to my lectures at Whole Foods as an example. I had one from 2012, 2013, and I kept it, but because it was in the kitchen, because it was in the basement in a bag, so I had to buy another one, just for props. So you can see how it's intact. I would not be eating anything from that company at this point in my life. And anybody of my relatives or friends that goes to that place, be very careful. If you put your life into the hands of a food industry, they're trying to sell you food. They're not trying to look at your health. So you have to be really careful about what you do, what you eat. Prepping food at home is always important, but you have to have somebody to teach you. My mom never taught me to cook, but I've been watching, and there are things you can learn online, and you can learn by burning a couple pots kind of burning a couple dishes, but it's okay. If you do it, at least you learn and you get better. But if you do nothing and you just rely on these guys to help you, you'll actually end up with some form of disease process a lot faster and earlier than at 90. You'll probably have it at 50. And we are having those kind of diseases now. So if you wait until the disease shows its head, and you're symptomatic and suffering, I can still help you, but I would probably let you stabilize with my specialty colleagues first. Then you come to see me when they discharge you and they have you maintaining. Then you come to see me a little bit after that, and I can help you tidy up and hopefully get back to where you were when you were younger and healthier. But it still takes coming in and getting an evaluation by me with the knowledge base that I have. The bottom line is that you really have to be taught what to do and showed how to do it. I live by example because I was in that place too. When I used to eat those things, I thought it was bulletproof, but unfortunately I wasn't bulletproof, and I had a disease that hit my heart, and I think I've reversed it, but still I have to keep on my guard because it always wants to come right back. So again, the physical exam or that yearly exam or wellness exam isn't meant to be a threat. It's meant to be a guide for your doctor to figure out what is off balance and how to get you back into balance. I think of it as a lifeguard. So if you go to a beach, most of us know how to swim, most of us know how to wade, most of us know how to put sunscreen on, but every once in a while you do have that disease that happens of somebody drowning. But we all don't remember the riptides. We all don't remember when the jellyfish bloom occurs or when there's a predator in the water. So it's important to be looked after by a lifeguard. I'm your lifeguard with regards to lifestyle change. So think of it that way. Even though I make suggestions, you don't have to take them. You just have to consider with my trust. If you trust me, you just have to consider some of the changes that I suggest you go through. And if it's not sustainable, that's okay. I just have you come back and we replan about how to do things. Whether I do it myself or use my coaches in the field to be helpful while you're not with me, it's all important, and that's where we develop a team. We develop a team to help you with the best success and sustainability you can get to. And if the team isn't that great, then we replace the team with somebody else. But bottom line is that we still have to get you and serve you the best way we can. The idea is not to just pull out blood and do a whole bunch of tests. The idea is to take the proper history, make the decisions for what's prioritized as being important now and maybe can wait later, then helping you with your plan to a healthy lifestyle change. So hopefully this has been helpful for figuring out why and who should go in for the doctor's office visit. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and if you subscribe to me and subscribe to me for weekly words of wisdom.